Hi everyone, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks. And I've got a confession to make. I've been hating World of Tanks more than ever, and until yesterday I had no idea why or how I could prove it. It stems from the fact that Wargaming have been stripping some of my favorite maps from the game in the standard queue, the encounter queue, and the assault queue, and it's down to the new random events feature testing. There's a checkbox for you to be able to enable maps under development. And over the last year, Wargaming have been adding in more and more maps with random events that are pretty cool. You know, crashes happen on Lighthouse, carpet bombing happens on Siegfried Line. But what has been happening is when Wargaming add these maps with random events, then they're actually artificially lowering them inside the random queue in standard battles, assault battles, and encounter battles. Now, using the Awesome Tomato GG website, you can actually get frequency occurrences for all of the maps for standard battles, which also includes the random events encounters, the encounter battles, and also assault battles. And what dawned on me is that when was the last time that I got to go on a regular Prokhorovka map on standard battle? When was the last time I got to see Prokhorovka encounter? When was the last time that I got Malinovka encounter? And when was the last time that I got Karelia Assault, which was one of my favorite maps inside the game, in my favorite game mode? I love Assault. Assault forces one team to attack, and I feel that the flow of the battle in that 10-minute environment is kind of fun. It breaks up the monotony, and I absolutely adore Assault. And the fact that I haven't been getting Karelia Assault recently really confused me. So I went and I tracked every time Wargaming have added a map into the random events testing, what update it was added in, and also the date of the patch release. Also, whether those maps are available in encounters or whether they're available on assaults. And interestingly, if we take the encounter battles and we look at it for frequency and we scroll to the bottom, then we can see that all of the maps that have been in the game as being tested for the longest period are towards the bottom of the frequency. Now, let me clarify. The yellow rings are the two maps that were only added in as random events testing a couple of weeks ago in the patch. So with the fact that this frequency only updates 30 to 60 days, that is why that Cliff would still be high up and why Siegfried Line is probably higher than it will be. But it is more than a coincidence that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these maps, none of them are towards the half or the top half of the frequency that you actually get them. And it's the same case with Assault as well. Why is Karelia 10 times less frequent than all of the other maps? And Siegfried Line, its frequency is plummeting since it has been added in as a random event. So to take this analysis one stage further, I decided to use my own replay files. I have 14,000 replay files since the 29th of October 2023 that I'm going to be using in this dataset. And as Karelia was added in a random event on the 4th of September 2024, I checked all of the frequency from before it was added in as a random event and how many times I got the map. That is 311 days. I played the map 677 times. So I got Karelia from the 29th of October 2023 until the 4th of September when it was added in as a random event map, on average 2.18 times per day. So consequently, I've got two data sets here. And the reason why I've got two data sets is because maneuvers artificially changes the amount that you get the map. So I've stripped all of my maneuvers data out of the equation. So from the 4th of September, which was the patch day where Karelia was added in as a random event, up until the 4th of November, when the maneuvers event started, I got it 20 times in total over 61 days. Meaning that I got Karelia 0.33 times a day on average, way less than the 2 times per day that I had previously. So next I've got a second data set from the 18th of November 2024 until yesterday before I decided to turn on random events again. I got the map 8 times over 21 days. That is 0.38 Karelias per day. Consequently, I went from getting Karelia 2 times a day on average to only 1 time every 3 days played. And I'm a bit of a sweaty no-lifer, so I'm playing at least 40 games of World of Tanks a day on average. So the occurrence of Karelia for me probably went from like 1 in 20 roughly over an entire year to maybe like 1 in 100. That is 6 times less of one of my favorite maps in the game because Wargaming have purely decided to start testing it as a random event map. Now, to prove that this isn't just a one-off, I did the same for Siegfried Line. Now, keep in mind that Siegfried Line was added in the game as a random event map on the 27th of November. So I'm taking my data from, once again, the 29th of October until the 26th, the day before it was added in as a random event. That's 394 days. I got Siegfried Line 699 times. That is 1.77 times a day on average. Not too far off the Corellia statistic. However, since then, and keep in mind this data set is only 12 days long, I have only received Siegfried Line 5 times, which is 0.42 times per day. And remember, I'm playing like 40 games per day, and I'm playing a lot right now, considering that Holiday Ops is out. So that would artificially maybe increase that number more than it should be. Accordingly, I got Siegfried Line over 4 times less over the patch since they added it as a random event than in all of the year before it. And this is not just a coincidence. When Wargaming add these maps as random events, they strip them from encounter, they strip them from the random queue, and unless you have them enabled, you're probably not going to be seeing them more than like 1 in 100 times, if my statistics are anything to go by, for the random queue as well. Now, I understand why Wargaming did this. They did this as a knee-jerk reaction because in the initial patch, when they only added in a handful of maps, it was Runeberg and Prokhorovka, players were getting Prokhorovka and Runeberg far too many times. And also, I'd like to mention that Prokhorovka and Runeberg, they didn't have assault games. However, for players who do enjoy assault, Wargaming have practically nuked the occurrence of Corellia and Siegfried Line from the game. And remember, this Siegfried Line data is on a downward trajectory because it was only just patched a couple of weeks ago, and this data is 30 to 60 days old, I've been told by the creator of the Tomato GG website. On the other hand, as an assault player, I've been getting all of the other maps more frequently, as I guess the game is artificially deciding to not put Corellia and Siegfried Line in instead, but it's only got a map pool of 4 other maps that it could feed you. So this consequently strips the variety from the game, and it also strips some of my favorite maps from the game. I love Corellia Assault, and the fact that that has been taken from me has made me absolutely furious, and I didn't even know why until yesterday. It feels like, honestly, I honestly feel like I've been gaslit by Wargaming over the last year with unknowingly having the quality of the maps that I get to play stripped one by one when they add them in for random event testing, which players may or may not be interested in. Now, let me clarify, I have absolutely no problem with random events in World of Tanks. If people want to check that on, that's great. However, that should be a separate entity that players then enter themselves into a pool to be able to get. I have no idea why Wargaming are artificially removing maps that are under development from Assault and also from Encounter and from the Standard Battle as well. And the other thing that I'd like to highlight is I'd say that some of these maps that are towards the lower end are probably some of the slower maps as well. And so if you wonder why the game is getting faster with maps like Mines being more frequent and maps like Ensk being more frequent as the other maps are artificially removed from the map pool, then if you're someone who likes to slow the game down a little bit on Corellia or slow the game down on Malinovka or Prokhorovka, then you might be just as exasperated as me that literally Wargaming are artificially speeding the game up by lowering the frequency of these longer maps, with Corellia having one of the longest durations in the game. And I have no idea how Wargaming could not see this happening, and why, as they rampantly increase the amount of random tested maps, that when they increase the pool as it gets larger and larger, that they didn't recognize they were going to be stripping so many maps that we enjoy from the game. So if you ever wonder why you get Malinovka literally 10 times less than you're going to be getting Mines, this is a problem that Wargaming has created, and I very much hope that they address quickly, because I have been hating this game more than ever with the lack of variety and this forced focus on maps that they're not bad, but there's a reason why Wargaming have been taking these classic maps, the best ones, and putting random events on them. So Wargaming, I implore you, I beg you, work on this as a matter of urgency, because I think that there are a lot of people out there who have been enjoying the game less and haven't been able to realize exactly why this is the case. Anyway, ladies and gents, boys and girls, that's it for me today. Do any of you feel the same about World of Tanks recently as me, that you've been seeing some of your favorite maps less? And I'd just like to clarify, once again towards the end of the video, I have absolutely no problem with the random events. I have no problem with checking the box on, but that should not affect the map pool that you get if you don't want to play them. Well, anyway, I feel like I honestly feel like I'm a frog that was put in a pan of water and it just slowly has been boiling and festering over the last year. And when it happens slowly, you just don't realize it. And it's kind of, I'm sitting on the fence here. Part of me is happy that I maybe have figured out what one of the problems is and that maybe Wargaming can make adjustments to the map rotation to fix this as a matter of urgency. And the other part of me is just so sad that a gaming company that makes $1 billion a year off their product couldn't have seen this happening. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video and this statistical analysis. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you hated it, give it a thumbs down. And let me know whether you've been experiencing the same things in World of Tanks. And if you're watching this video as it goes live on Wednesday, I'm going to be going live all day on twitch.tv/QuickyBaby with brand new drops tokens. So come and let me know in the Twitch chat whether you have been noticing this and whether some of your favorite maps, like maybe Corellia Assault or even Siegfried Line Assault, have been stripped and you didn't even know why. And as always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.